NetSparker, the developers of desktop and cloud-based web application security scanners that enable you to automatically identify vulnerabilities in your web applications and web services. NetSparker scanners employ a unique and dead-accurate vulnerability scanning engine that automatically verifies vulnerabilities with their proof of concept. For more information, visit them on the web at netsparker.com or email at contact@netsparker.com. Signal Sciences secures the most important web applications, APIs, and microservices of the world's leading companies, protecting over 7,500 applications and 150 billion production requests per week. Signal Sciences Next-Gen WAF and RASP help companies increase security and maintain site reliability without sacrificing velocity, all at the lowest total cost of ownership. Signal Sciences' patented technology protects any application against any attack, with integrations into any DevOps toolchain. Signal Sciences, demand more from your WAF. Learn more at signalsciences.com/PSW.
And welcome back to the show, or something, in some sort of manner. But first, let me introduce you to a man who ain't nothing to fuck with, Mr. Paul Asadoria.
Welcome, everyone, to Paul Security Weekly. This is episode number 585, recorded December 6th, 2018 at G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island. I'm reading slow because my teleprompter was going slow. Okay, there we go. Hey, with us in studio, we've got none other than Mr. Larry Pesce. Welcome, Larry.
Hello, hello.
Sorry, I just jiggled my cable.
That's what she said.
It's yes. No, it's nice to have you. I like the table, the relaxed atmosphere we got going on. It's really nice. Someone's hammering.
Construction.
Someone's doing construction.
Someone's getting hammered.
It's right as always right when we start the show.
It's like every time I get on a conference call, the neighbor mows the lawn.
Yes.
There could be a foot of snow on the ground. He's out there mowing the lawn.
On the lines remotely, Mr. Lee Neely is with us. Lee, welcome.
Great to be here. Good to see everybody.
Yes, it's a very...
I would mind having no snow on the ground.
Yes. Well, it's a lovely festive shirt you have on, Lee. Is that a sweater? Is it a cardigan?
Yes, it is. It's my first Christmas sweater of the season.
Very nice. Very nice.
Wait, there's more?
More Christmas sweaters,
oh,
yeah.
No.
More where that came from. I got a feeling he's going to wear a different one at every show. We could only hope. Mr. Joff Thayer is on the lines remotely. Joff, welcome.
G'day, everybody. I am fresh back from Europe. I had a wonderful teach last week, and my brain is still not adjusted. But and snow, oh my God, we've got the mother of all snowstorms coming up the East Coast this weekend. So here in the Carolinas, we're supposed to get buried by like a foot and a half of snow.
Is that a lot? An inch for you
foot
guys?
and a half. They're talking about. Oh shit, my phone's ringing.
Oh,
Yep.
you may want to mute that.
See now, Joff. Here's the great thing is that snow is like male genitalia.
Yes.
You never know how many inches you're going to get or how long it's going to last.
Well, speak for yourself, Larry. That's all I can say about that.
Alrighty. Well, if you don't want to be worried about snow and you're interested in quality over quantity and having meaningful conversations rather than just a badge scan, join us April 1st through the 3rd at Disney's Contemporary Resort. That's in Florida where it's warm. There's no snow. For InfoSec World 2019. Although, didn't they get snow or really cold weather or something like that? Anyway, the discount code is OS19-SEC-WEEK. Get you 15% off the main conference or a world pass. And now, the security news for the week. Where do we want to start, gentlemen?
At the beginning.
That's a very good place to start, I hear.
That would be with story number 1, which is the top 5 new open source vulnerabilities in November. Just looking at the article, this was originally published
December 6th.
December 6th. Yeah, that's okay though, right?
Yep. Wait. So it says
this was published by White Source,
right?
Originally,
So the title says top 5 new open source vulnerabilities in November, yet the image is the top 5 new vulnerabilities December.
Oh, interesting.
That's not confusing at all.
Oh yeah, December 2018. Yes.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I noticed the IDs on some of these vulnerabilities definitely is tagged as November. So how bizarre.
Yeah. Well, they're probably the month in review.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, well, these are the major ones. The one that I worry about is in all that open source software that doesn't get CVEs. right?
Yep.
That's what I get concerned.
Oh, is this one of these articles that like number 1, then the number 2 is on the next page?
No, it is not.
Don't you hate those?
Click the link to the original source, and you get it. White Source is a vendor, one of a few that allow you to track open source software vulnerabilities and licensing.
Oh,
so that's why they're publishing on this content. They did a sponsored interview with us this year. I got to meet the founders. Really, really cool guys.
Nice.
Cool company. So, all righty. I don't know if we want to talk about.
That's all we're going to say about that.
Well, yeah. Okay. So here's my thing about in these vendors and open source software, which tries to track open source software, right? Is I think working on trying to deal with these problems that stem from somebody wrote some kind of library module package or add-on for an open source kind of mainstream, like WordPress has a plugin, right? So you write one of those libraries or plugins or whatever it is, and then like what happened, I believe it was this week, then you go away. And lo and behold, you may have given some other people access to help you code it, and they may have had a lot of commits, but they turn evil and then put a backdoor to mine cryptocurrency in your, well, what was your open source software.
Yeah, that sucks. Right. No, I noticed that Postgres was in the list too, which is disappointing, but you know, hey. Next.
That's all you had to say about that, Joff? I teed it up so nicely, and then you're like, yeah, okay, Paul, that sounds good. Next.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, dude. Yeah,
keep going, Paul. Just keep going. You're good.
Moving on.
So if we're doing the 5 of November, I'd like to take a stab at what potentially the 5 of December might be.
Okay.
For this one, which I would say, and it's not necessarily a story that I had linked it because I just remembered about it now, and I don't know why that happened. But the whole Kubernetes issue. CV 2018 1002-105.
I thought that it listed that as a privilege escalation vulnerability.
It is.
But the CVSS score was like 9.5?
Yes.
Or something like that? Was it 9.5?
Yeah, let's see.
I thought that was kind of odd.
Let's look it up. We have this thing called the internet.
Yes.
Let's see how good my memory is.
Yep, 9.8 critical.
9.8.
Yep.
That's a big
for
one.
a privileged escalation, though. I don't. Is it local?
Because it's more easily exploitable. It's
so there's no
blocking it.
There's no authentication to begin with. So privilege escalation is really remote code execution. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So let's see. So to read the CVE, with a specially crafted request, users that are authorized to establish a connection through the Kubernetes API server to a backend server can then send arbitrary requests over the same connection directly to that backend, authenticated with the Kubernetes API server's TLS credentials used to establish the backend connection.
That's similar to how Docker APIs work, and like the other article, when you leave them exposed to the internet, like I did once by accident, people upload rogue containers and do things like launch denial of service attacks and mine cryptocurrency, which was ours was a denial of service attack. It happened once. I talked about it on the show. I talked about it on our webcast actually with Virus Total as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lee, go ahead. Yeah, someone else talk.
So sorry. The other thing about this particular vulnerability is that you're jumping on an existing connection, so your malicious commands are mixed in with all the legitimate Kubernetes commands. So it's a pain in the ass to separate them. You can't tell what's good and what's bad. You're just mixed in with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is got to be authentication on that API.
Well, yeah, so you're authenticating to the API, and then the API is using another set of credentials to talk to all of the other containers.
Right. Oh, I see.
So you're sending legitimate commands to all the containers, and evil attacker is also using that same
proxying over that.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
That's the way I'm understanding it. And
that's interesting.
The other one is that allegedly, if anonymous access is enabled,
yes, which
you could do the same
in the Docker Community Edition. The API is open by default, and then you get. I was actually just presenting on this yesterday, and you get a message that's like, if you don't use -- TLS verify, you don't know what you're doing. Like it basically says you got to know what you're doing. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. That's a given.
Nice.
I mean, but yeah.
We've been saying this for years.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
I love the story on WordPress.
Oh,
because
geez.
of WordPress. Right.
Oh, okay. A botnet. Yeah. So it's like WordPress attacking WordPress.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just wipe it all out if it's vulnerable.
Yep. WordPress cannibalism, as it were.
I think it was more like WordPress expand your presence to get even larger sized botnet. It was really the way I read the article, but it's like,
you know what's
hey,
interesting?
let's dictionary attack everything and see if we can get into all these other WordPress sites and just gain a bigger domain. Yay, master of our domain. So
Yeah, it's interesting. As you try to apply security to WordPress, things stop working. Like it's hard to like have a plugin that does something, but like if you lock down your WordPress to protect yourself against vulnerable plugins, it probably means that much of the functionality in those plugins
that you want to use
may or may not be there.
Yep.
They're also the cause of some issues too. Like anytime a page is acting funny, I'm like, let me go remove that plugin that I just put on. Yeah. Then, look, everything works. I'm like, oh, not using that one.
Plugin. Yep.
But what I was going to say is why WordPress is using still today somewhat kind of archaic web architecture, I guess in today's terms, right? Of PHP with the with really just PHP, right? And when we look at the other ones, I know there was a story in there about Node, or I talked about Node earlier. With all of the new frameworks, why don't we have a CMS in one of these new frameworks? Is no one wants to take on WordPress? WordPress isn't going to rewrite it necessarily at this point.
Right.
I think I think the market's like wide open there. There's a big opportunity, right? I mean, for somebody to come up with, oh my God, a securable CMS concept.
Yeah, right. And then you got to balance that functionality and security.
Right.
Just maybe one of the reasons why WordPress is so vulnerable, of course.
Because it has so much functionality.
Yeah. It makes it easy to access that functionality and use the functionality.
Yep,
and
anybody and their mother can write plugins for it with no code on it.
Yeah. And I mean, WordPress is making a lot of money. I don't remember the exact figures, but I caught a glimpse of their valuation of revenue or something. They're making a lot of, I don't know how much profit they're turning, but certainly the numbers I saw were pretty impressive.
Yes.
And the other thing was, someone, and I got to go back and look it up on where it came from, but there are these little pockets of projects that aim to secure WordPress. And one of them was, rather than running it on top of PHP, they wrote like an interpreter for WordPress in Go. I think it was in Go. And then you were able to run WordPress on top of their platform instead of PHP and supposedly fix all of the security holes. I thought that was really interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, adding essentially another layer of abstraction in the middle to act as insulation, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah,
isn't there a ticking time bomb with WordPress? Because most people aren't running WordPress on top of PHP 7. They're still running it on 5.4 or 5.6, which is all.
Could be.
I think that's probably right, Lee.
It's one reason why I switched to a hosting provider, so I didn't.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Don't have to worry about that. It's been PHP 7 for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and they tell you if your plugins are out of date.
Yep.
I just got an email before the show.
Nice. Nice. Actually, even some of the current WordPress stuff will tell you when your plugins are out of date.
Yes. They send me an email.
Okay, so we should give them a little credit. They're trying to make an effort.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I found a plugin that will keep the plugins updated.
And then what happens when that plugin's vulnerable, right?
Yeah, or it needs to be updated. Does it automatically?
No, that'll never be vulnerable. No,
it's a plugin clusterfuck at that point. Technical term.
Docker containers that are being exposed. I don't know if there's anything new here. If you have the story we were talking about earlier, containers, what I'm told, containers are becoming a target for crypto hijacking in rising numbers.
Is your story number 4?
Yeah, we were ahead of the curve. I mean, they popped one of ours in February, March of this year.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because I talked about it at Source Boston. So yeah,
that's awesome.
We're on the bleeding edge of getting compromised.
Oh man!
And they weren't. It was before they were even crypto jacking with it. They were DDoSing with it.
Nice.
Which is a good thing, because I found it much quicker than I likely would have found it normally. Little inside tip there. Yeah. Anyway, does anyone have any comments on this story?
There's a joke there somewhere.
There is. Yes, I knew. I knew what you were thinking.
I know you did.
We're doing this long enough. What else you want to talk about, Larry?
Let's see. That's one of the other guys. Pick one.
Okay, Lee, Joff. What's in the news
Hey,
this week?
how about Apple updates yesterday?
There was a lot of them, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And a lot of them were dealing with fixing WebKit and the Safari browser, which means it hit iOS, tvOS, OS 10, 14, 13, iTunes, watchOS. A red letter day if you want to do Apple updates. The main thing I've been waiting for was that with iOS 12.1, there was that contact card lock screen bypass with FaceTime. You could access somebody's contacts in an unauthorized way, and that's fixed in the 12.1.1 patch that just came out, along with a laundry list of other stuff in WebKit and Safari, etc.
Yeah, WebKit's pretty, that's kind of concerning given that there are other browsers based on WebKit that, well, how will this affect them?
Yeah. Will they when will they roll out the fixes?
Exactly. There will be some delay.
But that is also why it hits so many things. You touch WebKit, you're going to touch everything that's on top of it.
Yeah, because they're just reusing it. Yep. That's bad. I don't know. I don't run many iOS devices anymore, so I tend not to. I'm glad Lee is here to point those out, that we should be talking about them in some capacity. And I wonder what the vulnerability is in WebKit. I mean, how systemic is it, right? If it's in all those different versions of it, it's something in the core functionality.
Yep.
I don't. Do you know the severity of that, Lee? Like what it was? Something easily exploited?
If you give me a second. I'm actually was trying to look it up without you noticing.
It's not a very stealthy sweater, and that stealthy attempts didn't work either.
I'm definitely not low impact today.
Yep. No, and I know there was just one of those whole, was it own to own type of browser exploit things that happened not that long ago, and there was one group that got two $40,000 bounties or something, right? Because they own just about every browser out there, and WebKit may have been part of that. I'm not positive. So,
gotcha.
But I do know one of those things happened not that long ago. I was just attempting to buy Lee more time.
No, I know you were, and so one of them is CVE 2018-4437. Oh. Which is going back with a not found. Three of them came out of Google Project Zero. There's quite a few of them. I just don't have the vulnerability, the severity. I'm seeing about a total of 6 or 8 CVEs addressed with the update. So
to me that brings up other questions. Like Google Project Zero is finding browser bugs in competing products.
Yeah.
What do you mean? They're not competitive. There's no self-interest there.
No. Oh, and that reminds me, I saw some story, and I didn't get the chance to read it, so I don't even know if it's true that Microsoft is declaring Internet Explorer and Edge dead, and they're just and they're just going to use some Chrome variant. Wait, what?
What?
Like throwing up the flag, going, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
We'll use Firefox or Chrome. That's it. We're done.
Yep. I mean, I've used Edge before just to download Chrome.
Yes.
So I'm not convinced that Apple and Google are not cooperating more than we think.
Yeah.
This article isn't really security related.
Which one?
The manipulated White House video, the one that shows a member of the press apparently assaulting the president or something.
Oh, deepfakes or something?
Yeah, and they attempted a deepfake, but apparently the video was so bad it was really obvious that it was forged.
Jeez, Paul, there you go, spreading fake news.
Right? I don't know how I don't know. It sounded more interesting
and
than it really
your
was.
ad blocker is doing like a really bad job or something.
Or a really good job, Larry.
Oh, like, no. No, it's definitely not doing a good job because I'm getting more ads than I'm getting content.
Yes, so it's doing its job, Larry. Now I have remote access to your system.
No. I'm only using WebKit. Wait, what?
Right? Oh, damn it.
No, seriously, I can't even see the damn article.
Yeah, I know. You just keep scrolling. You'll see it eventually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Again, Jim Acosta?
Yeah.
Next.
I don't follow the mainstream news.
Yes.
Hey, I thought this one was interesting. That Siemens wanting to release security advisories on Patch Tuesday.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Noble effort, right? I mean, it's like, stepping forward and saying, we can do this, and we want to get on board. All right. I don't know which products they're looking at. Did you get a sense of which products they were looking at? Looks like industrial automation controllers. I see those words in there.
It doesn't. I don't know if it says. It doesn't say which products. But they're dubbing it. Oh, this is why I added the story. They've dubbed it Siemens Advisory Day. Or SAD for short.
Man. What does that mean for couples all over the planet?
This is just going to be a sad day for Siemens.
I'm sorry. There's just so many jokes when your company's named Siemens.
And they're going to release on the same day as Microsoft, Larry.
Oh, man.
Oh, my. That's it. We're what, 30 minutes in, and there it goes. Straight off the cliff.
We've taken it right to the edge with that one.
It's nice to have company down in the gutter.
Yes. Yes, it is. Oh.
What else we got,
Speaking
guys?
of the gutter, Marriott? It's like almost like we rehearsed that. But we didn't. No, we definitely didn't. It
was totally planned.
We just think alike.
That's awesome.
So what about Marriott?
What about Marriott?
What not about Marriott?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, we had the 2014 thing happen. And then so there was another one that came to light this week. Let's see. I think that's my story number 2. Yep, another story number 2. Apparently, someone from their CERT team got infected by somebody bad who has pictures of their screenshots, pictures of their desktop logged in as the CERT email account examining.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's not good. And that was a year ago. So.
Wow. So, so I got stuck in New Jersey on the way home, and the airport Marriott had a lot of empty rooms. So.
Really?
Go figure.
Well, one that was at the airport.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that I think pretty much the entire story could be told in a sentence in this article that states some of the important lessons are. They say, first, Marriott's IT folks kept the Starwood network and its database separate. So that tells me M&A, merger and acquisition, they do due diligence to assess the security of the Starwood network, and there's some senior security person at Marriott that banged his or her fist on the table and said, I will not connect any of those Starwood systems to the Marriott network, and throws down like a 100,000-page vulnerability report and goes, this is why. And it hits the table with a big thud. And then the executives go, yep, let's keep it separate.
And more but more importantly, in 2014, when that happened, why didn't they fix the Starwood shit?
They've had some time to fix it. They have. Yes. You're absolutely right, Larry.
Yep.
And there's probably maybe the very same
Marriott merge stuff. Combine your accounts.
Did they?
You combine your SPG and Marriott, and you know where they land up?
SPG?
Yep.
I bet you that same executive is saying, I told you so right now.
Yeah.
There's someone saying, I told you so. Hey, Marcelo, how are you?
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey.
Hey, Joff.
Hey, Marcelo, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's as if we saw each other like a couple hours ago.
This week, yesterday, today, we talk to each other all the time. He's one of the smartest guys I know. So
That's what you said to me, Joff.
Yeah, you said the same thing to me the other night, too.
Oh, no. I've been outed.
Wow.
He hasn't
You said that
hung
was
out
just
with
between us, Joff.
Yeah, okay.
We just totally burned Joff for like no reason whatsoever.
All right, I'll
Or
hang
for
up
every
now.
reason.
Just for the pure sport of it.
Yep.
We burned Joff. Likely because the stories kind of sucked this week, I think is what we're coming down to.
So much love going around. I can feel it right here.
Yeah. It was just one of those weeks. It happens.
So either way, the Marriott stuff is quite concerning, you know, and stuff that's been reported to them for a long time, from my understanding.
Yeah,
Let's
I hate those told you so stories, right?
Yep.
It's like, come on, guys. Oh, man, very sad.
So another concern I have on the Marriott is I had a friend of mine say, I'm not worried about the Marriott because that's only high-end hotels and I don't stay at the high-end hotels. And my response is, have you looked at the Marriott and SPG brand list? You probably are working and using their hotels.
Yes.
Yeah, you were all affected somewhere, especially those of us that are road warriors. My God. We've all stayed there sometime.
Yep.
Oh, man. Anyway, what are you going to do?
I got one.
Yes, go ahead, Lee, please. Save
So,
the
and
show.
this was I just saw this morning. 1-800-Flowers Canada had a payment breach. Although they claim they fixed it. I'm thinking, what a heck of a time to have a 1-800-Flowers problem.
Could be worse.
bad
It could be like
time.
February 13th.
Right.
That's where I was headed, but still, a lot of holiday flowers get sent.
Yeah.
Like I said, they claim they fixed it, and it was only the 1-800-Flowers Canada systems. And I'm thinking, really, they have that kind of separation?
Yeah, that's what I was curious about that too when you said that the payment system for Canada is separate from the U.S. That's kind of weird. No.
Yeah, that's where I'm having a credibility problem.
I'm just thinking to myself, the marketing people are probably going, "Hey, we fixed it, and now everything smells like roses."
Oh, I was waiting for it.
Oh no! And I just unplugged my headphones.
Like, what did they do? What did they do for everyone that was breached? They send them flowers.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't help it. It's a slow news week.
Sorry, your credit card got stolen. Love 1-800-Flowers, or maybe best or love. I don't know.
I've never seen a breach notification delivered with flowers.
Right.
There's always a first time, right?
Oh man.
We'll have to check with our friend Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only Canadian we know. No, wait.
Well,
we
we
can
know
check
two.
with Ron. We can check with Ron.
Yeah,
Bowes.
don't forget Ron.
Yeah.
He's the other Canadian I know.
But he doesn't live in Canada anymore.
No.
No, he's in the Seattle area, I believe. But
They're gonna build the Great Firewall of Canada one day. I just know it. They're gonna do it.
And it's going to be bigly and huge.
Bigly and huge. Oh,
there's really not that many other stories.
What is this? The strength in the cybersecurity for the automobile industry?
Yeah, I mean they're always talking about that.
Yeah, the article's taking
because it's important. Yeah, my sources suck this week too.
Yeah, mine too. It was a bad week.
It wasn't just me.
Nope.
Did you catch the Zoom vulnerability?
Yeah, we use Zoom, so we definitely caught it.
He caught it all right.
Yep. Still trying to immunize myself from it as well, I think.
I mean, it's really you got to be on the network to exploit it. It's a local UDP attack, but it's still kind of bad. Although they have released patches. In fact, Zoom reminded me I needed to update it today, and I said, "But of course."
But of course.
And that's separate from the. Was it the WebEx one that
That's
actually?
Yeah.
Was it Ron Bose that found?
Bose.
And Ron Bose and Jeff McJunkin.
Yep.
Found the WebEx one, and they had to re-release the patches for that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they found 2.
Yeah, because they found 2.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was reading some of those articles, I think last week or something. I was like, hey, I know those guys.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
I know them.
It's WebExec
Yes.
is their vulnerability.
Yes.
Yep. Instead of WebEx, WebExec. Yeah. It's
Basically, you can get WebEx to execute unauthorized DLLs.
Yeah, that was
Or
bad.
whatever the right
I like
term is.
DLLs. They make a great malicious.
oh my god, the DLLs are
They
amazing.
really do. DLLs are fun.
Had some good DLLs lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, Marcelo? DLLs are fun.
Oh, yes. Especially when you actually like if you get DLL injection working with like C++, yes, you're they're really
yeah, Marcelo.
Like
and I
if
got
you
inside
if you
story.
inject your DLLs. Yeah, is that how you get them?
Hot DLL
Via
injection?
Hot
Yes.
DLL injection.
Well, now, boring old, create remote thread reflected DLL injection is just blasé. It's out of style. It's according to a good friend of mine, Subt. Well, maybe Subt's not a good friend, but certainly an acquaintance. It's the worst thing ever, and you should just use regular tools. As in the squibbly do stuff. Isn't that what he calls it? Squibbly do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Squibbly 2, I think. One of those.
well, it's kind of I don't know. He was probably playing with his kids or something, and they said Squibbly Doo, and he's like, "That's it. I'm gonna name it Squibbly Doo."
Oh, that's the name of the tool.
Oh, you're like
Yeah.
Larry and I were really lost there
Paul and I
until
were looking at each other like, what the fuck? Is that an Australian thing?
Who put acid in our beers? God damn it!
Wait, it's actually gin that was in here. I'm starting to wonder.
Oh. Hey, Scooby, you got any Scooby snacks?
Yeah, so
Squibbly doo doo.
God damn, it's a slow news week.
yeah.
And we're out.
Marcelo and I like to work together on really wicked cool malware delivery techniques. So we've been talking a lot on some interesting topics.
Marcel's still going to do a technical segment.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeff, we were doing some red team work this week, and PowerShell was being watched, and
did you just rename the executable?
No.
Did that work?
No.
It worked for me this week.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, see? Ding, ding, ding.
But we were trying to be careful, and I'm like, shit, we have a payload. We can host it somewhere that's whitelisted, not through the proxy. How the hell are we going to download it? And like, what tools are already on the system that we can use to download something from the command line? Like
wget?
No, it's Windows system.
I was gonna say if it was wget, it'd be really
that'd have been hilarious.
Can you just put that on all your Windows systems for me and make my job so much easier? Thanks.
But turns out Cert Manager,
Bits admin,
and Cert Manager.
Yep.
You can call them from the command line because it has to use HTTP.
And I love certutil. I mean, the number of times that I like base64 encode something like 2 or 3 times, and then use certutil to just decode it when I get it on the system.
Yep. Oh, and you can use certutil. You can use certutil just to download it straight
directly.
Yeah, without even having to base 64 encode it if you so chose to. But
yeah, it's so evilly good and fun and stuff.
Can certutil go to a non-SSL protected site?
Yeah,
it just acts as a browser.
Yeah,
right?
Effectively.
Actually, a lot of things in Windows act as a browser.
Yeah.
It just
well, the
Windows
whole. I mean, we were talking earlier when Lenny's segment, which if you're watching live was before this. If you're listening or watching after this was recorded, then it's after, which is I think, or maybe it's first. I don't know.
Anyways, in this
episode somewhere, and we were talking about JavaScript interpreting just straight on Windows. And then he was talking about malware that, JavaScript spawns PowerShell that spawns something else.
.NET is
.NET,
just freaking
yes.
awesome. I love .NET with a passion now because, yeah, I mean, there's just so many cool things you can do with .NET. It's so beautiful.
And it's weird. .NET used to just be on your web server, right? And then at some point, Microsoft decided that the Windows operating system should just be able to interpret all of these scripting languages natively.
Yep.
Like .NET, well, that's more of a programming language than a scripting language, but
maybe
someone would debate me on that.
And you know what? And Marcelo is really helped me enhance my love of .NET, and I'm sure he's going to talk about some of those things. And I don't want to steal his thunder, but
yeah, you know what? We should let him do that because this.
Hey, you know, we should let him do that. That's a great idea.
I do have one other story that that of yours that I was like,
save the show.
Someone is claiming to sell a mass printer hijacking service. Did you see this?
Yes, because there was. I had this because there was, and I don't want to tell the YouTube channel names because it was a really lame attack to garner attention. But basically, they used the.
There was a YouTube channel
printer
that was
exploitation
go away.
kit. Yeah, the printer exploitation kit to. So it was like 5,000 printouts or something like that to all the printers to advertise for their YouTube channel.
It was one of those things that it was like a grassroots effort. Like, hey, I happen to be a fan of this YouTube channel, and I happen to be playing with this printer, and I got stuff to print out with it without any authentication because I used PCL type stuff, and I wonder how many of these are exposed to the internet with Shodan. So I'll take the top 10,000 and I'll send my little message about, hey, save the show.
Lame.
I mean,
Really?
neat, but
lame.
Like, welcome to 2001, and they want their hack back.
Yep. Pretty much. Now, it'd be cooler if they got into a bunch of retailers and it printed out on everyone's receipts. That I might be impressed with.
That would be awesome.
Not giving anyone ideas, just saying.
Yes. But that would be a great idea.
That'd be really cool.
So, now the ad is there as Guerrilla Marketing Experts, printadvertising.com. Like, this reminds me of, like, the spam faxes that we used to get.
Yes.
Like, yes.
I can't even tell you how, from a marketing perspective, how bad of an idea this. I mean,
yes.
Even ethics aside, it's. I have these conversations, daily as we keep the lights on by doing marketing and advertising for our sponsors, and it's like I can imagine the questioning would be like, "Yeah, we're just going to take your message and put it out on all those printers," and I'm saying, "Well, who's that going to reach?" I don't know, like printers all over the world, but it's going to be awesome.
It does remind me of the fax spamming.
Right.
I had a business the other day. I don't know who I was talking to, and I won't mention them on air anyway, but they said, yeah, if you want to get us that information sooner, you can fax it to me. And I said, what? And they're like, no, you can fax it to me. And I said, oh, how quaint.
Yes. I'm like, yeah, no. Oh, I think I know exactly who that was. And I'm like, no, I cannot fax this to you because I'm not living in the 2000s. I'm not living in the 2000s. Yeah.
Wait, by fax, that's just another word for email, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Actually, I do believe I asked that question, Joff, and it was very much can I email this to you instead? Because I have to go to UPS store and pay them to fax this because
who does that anymore? I mean, Jesus.
Not to mention, using fax machines was the horrible experience. Horrible.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It was awful.
Yep.
So
I actually had to create 4 fax machines for the event we did for homeless veterans in September, and they didn't want to use soft fax because the agencies we were helping, like they were the court system, wouldn't allow software to be installed on their laptops. So it turns out you can get a little OB device that'll give you a physical entity for your Google Voice number. You just hook up a phone line to it and a little $40 fax and you're off.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen those.
Or you could just email it or put it on Google Drive or Dropbox or
eFax
Drop or
Well, I do like the idea. The one thing I struggle with in the security realm, right, and well, I don't struggle with. I find ways around it, but nobody has truly come up with a universal standard of, out of band key exchange for something that you do want to secure, right? So I will go through the process with some of my people I do business with, even if they're not techie, of saying, look, I'm sending you an encrypted zip, and I'm going to call you with or something else out of band to give you the password, right? It's really irritating that we still haven't solved, really good key management solution. I mean, everybody can say, oh, yeah, use PGP, GPG, whatever. But that universally hasn't been accepted, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could use fax, but then someone's just going to scan it and save it in a document and email it to you.
You could do that too. But email is not.
All right. We need to take a short break and come back with Marcelo's tech segment. Stay tuned.